So, Zelda game. Not the Zelda game. Not a main title Zelda game, but still a Zelda game. Hyrule Warriors, like it or hate it, you got to admit, it's pretty cool. The cutscenes are always really cool. And the whole concept of it's basically Dynasty Warriors, but with Zelda. So you get to control, like the last you were able to fight is like Skull Kid and Midna and Marin from Link's Awakening and all these other characters. So the whole concept is cool. Like I said, it's like a Dynasty Warriors thing. Like, oh yeah, there's a rush of enemies over here. You rush over and you beat them and this and that. In their story and people talking as you're doing it. I think Dynasty Warriors, I don't know about Hyrule Warriors, but Dynasty Warriors had like you could equip different weapons or upgrade weapons and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, this is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So we're talking about not the imprisoning war from like, you know, Link's Awakening or A Link to the Past. Not Link's Awakening, it's Link to the Past. Not that imprisoning war. I mean, that could people think that's a separate imprisoning war. But this is the other imprisoning war. But yeah, minute 47 seconds, and yeah.
When the Zonai, who descended from the heavens, joined hands with the Hylians, who dwelled on the surface, their union led to a great and prosperous kingdom. But in time, a terrible evil arose. A war was fought to vanquish this evil, one which future generations would call the Imprisoning War.
So right there we see that it's going to be kind of a lead up to what we experience in Tears of the Kingdom. We saw Zelda running off with Sonya and Rauru, probably shortly after she met him, when he was like, "Oh, Minoru, let's go see if she knows anything." So we'll get to see Hyrule, hopefully, since we're gonna probably go around to different locations of Hyrule. It's not just gonna be in the castle area. We're going to get to see Hyrule as it was all the way at the founding. We still don't know what kind of founding it is because Hyrule's been founded several times in different locations, it seems. So we don't know how far into the past. We know it's at least before the Great Calamity, which was 10,000 years. So, you know, it's the founding of Hyrule. Hyrule's going to look very, very different. So being able to see Hyrule in that era where it was inhabited by the Zonai, or more not really inhabited, because I think the Zonai were still gone at that point. Because when Ganondorf comes along, he kind of says that Rauru and Minoru were like the only Zonai left. The other Zonai, some of them, I think they decided to turn into eternal dragons. No one wants to believe that theory, but I mean, we know where the dragons come from. They come from, you know, secret stones, and not to mention they had sets in the game representing those dragons. The dragons were Zonai. They ate the secret stones and became eternal dragons. But yeah, anyway.
Perhaps you truly have traveled back in time.
So that's Hyrule Castle?
Hyrule Castle. I mean, not as grandiose as a Hyrule Castle you would expect, but it's strange that the Zonai, so technologically advanced, and yet their structures are fairly simplistic. I mean, it's still incredible to look at, but I mean, when you think of Hyrule Castle, this is not what you. This looks like a temple. You know, it's like we're going in there to fight something. This doesn't look like we're a place where a king and queen would live. But I think right there is where the cutscene takes place. Right there, because there's the circular balcony right there. And you see the big old door the old door right there. So I think either right there or probably one of these over. It was either here or the back. But either way, I think that's where the cutscene took place with Ganondorf taking the Secret Stone from Sonya and becoming, you know, Demon King Ganondorf. So being able to kind of hopefully explore around that area, even if it means fighting through waves and waves of enemies to make your way through the castle, because I'm sure that's going to happen. The castle's under attack. So, but I think that's where the cutscene took place.
So that's Hyrule Castle? Then that must mean this really is the past.
In this winter we're getting Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which the freaking music, between the do that, and then you had like the Ganondorf right there at the end as you start to see this. Oh god, it's so good. It's so good. This whole thing that she did with the Lionel, kind of like she sent it out and then used like recall to kind of. It's really cool. We got Rauru, we got Minoru doing with her constructs. It's kind of like riding around. Oh yeah, oh yeah. How you doing, Daddy? But seeing Raru's spear kind of reminds me of Zhongli's spear. Yeah, you know, that spear. Except this part is a lot longer, whereas his is kind of more conserved. But yeah, that's what it reminds me of. The same, almost like the same color. I mean, he's Geo, so it's gonna be representing like a goldish brown or. But yeah, it reminds me of Zhongli's spear. But we're seeing Rauru fight. We're seeing Zelda fight. Obviously we're gonna have the sages, I'm sure. Sonya, which would be interesting because we have Zelda already with the power of recall, like time and all that with recall. So it would be interesting to see how Sonya fights. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped a character that we hadn't seen yet. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's gonna be a lot of lore. A lot of lore. So, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna be able to play the game myself, but being able to watch whoever talk about the story and watch the cutscenes, because that's one reason I like the Zelda games, the lore. You know, learning about the kingdom and maybe they'll explain more where in the timeline this takes place. Like, is it the very first founding of Hyrule when Hyrule was still pretty primitive? Or was this one of the other several foundings of Hyrule? So it'd be cool to know when it takes place. Being able to see the other sages. I mean, I imagine they probably wouldn't be too different from what we have now, like Riju and Sidon. But probably more of a, not barbaric, but obviously a different fighting style given the time period they were living in. But oh god, yeah, look at that. Hang on. Okay, so as I said, this is Zhongli's spear, the Vanquisher. You can see Zhongli's. It's not as prominent, but it's still got like that golden divine aura around it. So that's why I said it really reminds me of what we saw with Rauru. I mean, because Rauru is kind of a divine, not really a divine being, but he wields the light that can pretty much smite evil, so it is almost divine. And obviously, Big Dong Zhang is a divine being, being an Archon. So he's got kind of a divine glow kind of coursing through. But as you can see, it's kind of the same thing almost. Kind of how it's like an outline of it, except this is just a more... I think Rauru might be overcompensating for something. You know what they say, a man with a big spear. But I love the fact that it says the story leading into the Tears of the Kingdom, which people are like, okay, well, we start the game, we find Ganondorf, and then suddenly we're just kind of playing as Link, trying to defeat Ganondorf, and we get cutscenes, like small little snippets of what was happening in the past. It's like, oh, gee, wouldn't it be cool if we could see what happened? Well, now we get to. We get to see the events that happened in between that time. Like the final battle with Ganondorf, that's probably going to be like a siege on Hyrule Castle and stuff like that, where we're probably going to be able to see, just like the other one, the other game, what is it, Age of Calamity? How we got to go into the castle and kind of see things as they were then, different rooms that we really didn't get to see, and so being able to see the castle, being able to see Hyrule, kind of makes me wonder how far they're going to extend Hyrule. Like, are we going to make it all the way up to like the Deku Tree, the I don't know. So I mean, I would imagine so. If it's against Ganondorf, every place is going to be affected. So I imagine we would be, even if it's a fast travel, you know, like, oh yeah, you just exit this area and you just automatically come out over there. But I would imagine we would be going to places like the Deku Tree, you know, Korok Forest and the desert, you know, Zora's domain, because every one of these groups of people are going to be affected by Ganondorf and his army. So while you have some of them attacking Hyrule Castle, you're going to have them attacking all these other important points, because, I mean, the Deku Tree is really important. You know, Korok Forest is really important. So I would imagine, you know, like Zora's Domain. Just like most times, Zora's Domain is like a source of fresh water for Hyrule through its rivers and streams and all that. So I would imagine Ganondorf would be like, oh, let me attack these guys too. So we'd be going to all these different locations. But yeah, it looks really cool. It looks really cool. Rauru getting a little action with his little magic constructs. Zelda wielding a freaking lightsaber type thing, where she like spins it around, and just to do double damage, she like recalls it, so it does even more as it comes back to her, which is really pretty clever use of recall. And we got the crew. We got the crew. So hopefully we see more. They do have faces, by the way, under these. I think in the files or something, you can actually see they're not exceptionally different. They kind of just look like anyone other of the races of them or their race, but they do have faces. Like she has a face. I think he has a face. So I don't think they would have introduced sages just to kind of sideline them. They might have had this plan the whole time. But yeah, the crew going to probably be able to play as all of them at some point. But Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. It's not the Zelda game, but it's a Zelda game to kind of fill in the gap between, you know, when it comes out and when we do get the next actual Zelda game. Anyway, let me know what you think about the game, what you thought about the first Hyrule Warriors, and about like Age of Calamity and Dynasty Warriors, kind of like where it's drawing inspiration from. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.